English riders don't understand why we don't post. And the reason is all the movement is front to back. There is no up and down to put you up into that posting position. There's a saying with show horses that you buy the walk and the lope and you develop the trot. And that holds very true with Western events also. And especially with ranch riding, because in ranch riding, they are judging how well the horse moves in relation to the movement that you would want on a working ranch. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to develop that trot into what you would want it to be as a working ranch horse. A horse that's going to show ranch riding, ranch trail, ranch rail, any of those kind of gaits that you would want those type of movements. Let's ask him to trot. Let's move around. So in general, there are some exceptions, but in general, a horse that is kind of hot, you want to ask them to slow down just a little bit. A horse that's a little bit lazy, you want to speed them up just a little bit. And then inside of the trot, in those parameters, you want to develop a working trot and you want to develop an extended trot. For ranch riding, both those trots need to look effortless and like the horse can do them for a long period of time and not be tired when they get to where they're going to do their job. Need to be ground covering so that you can trot 5 miles and then work cows in the pasture when you get there. That's what they're looking for in a ranch riding trot. Each horse, the speed that you're going to want those trots to be, going to be a little bit different for each horse. But you don't want it to be slow like a pleasure trot. You want it to be easy to ride. Like here, I'm trotting around, we're covering a little bit of ground, I'm able to talk, and we're getting there. It's not bouncing me too bad. That's more like what you want. If it's bouncing you to the point where you can't talk, you're going to be tired when you get there, you need to work on that trot. If it's a trot that is overly slow, then you need to work on speeding that trot up. In general, Western horses are much flatter moving than English horses. English riders don't understand why we don't post. And the reason is all the movement is front to back. There is no up and down to put you up into that posting position with a good flat horse. There are some exceptions, but normally those exceptions do not work in the ranch riding, reining cow horse kind of world. They need to be flatter moving horses to do the events that we do. If you're an English rider and you don't really understand that, you've never ridden a flat moving horse like that, you need to try it so you can see the difference. It is a huge difference. It's a totally different type movement. So as I'm letting him trot around, he's kind of strung out, he's not collected very good. I'm gonna start working on his collection and we're gonna start working on playing with his speed. Brought his nose in and just put out a video with him talking about that nose and how long your range should be. Ranch riding horse should not have slack in the reins, should not have droop in the reins. They don't need to be tense, but if you have droop, there's a penalty. So now I've got him collected. Let's play with some speed. Let's ask him to speed up. I'm using my seat to push him out forward, sinking my hips back, sinking my shoulders back to push him out forward and still keep him bridled up. I rarely post this. You start posting this, with a good moving horse, you're usually going to lose some quality in their extended trot. Now let's ask for a slower trot. I use my hand to slow him down. I also just put a video out about that, about using your hand for your speed transitions, when you should, when you shouldn't. Now notice when we came down to that slower trot, he wanted to come down a little further and I kept him going. It's really important when you do your downward transitions that you keep the horse engaged and moving forward. Way too often a rider will come down and then just throw the horse away. The horse all falls on his front end, all out of frame. And it seems like it doesn't hurt anything right here. You're giving the horse a break. But what it does, when you do your downward transitions from the fast trot to a slow trot, now let's ask for a slow trot. I need the back end to stay engaged. I need him to stay collected. And if you do a lot of transitions where you're just letting that horse just fall down on his front end, that's going to affect all of your downward transitions, not just the walk. Keep that in mind when you're working your trot. If you're struggling with good quality downward transitions, often the problem is in your walk to trot transition. So now developing into a better trot, a more collected trot, a better extension, better transition to slow. Let's see if we can push him out a little bit faster and keep him collected up. I'm gonna raise my hand. In fact, let's go two-handed. Use my body, sit up straight, shoulders back. Let's really ask him to extend out. Really push under with his back legs. Stretch those stifles out. Stay correctly bent in the corners. Now let's see what we got. Pretty decent extension there. He's not holding it as consistent as I would like it to. In the big pen, where we're not going so much in a circle, you can work more straight. I can work on him holding. Now let's ask for a downward transition. My mission for my training program is to try to make every horse as good as they can be. If you want to talk to me about sending a horse to me for training, send me a message and we'll talk about it. Slower trot, keep going, keep going. That's that transition I was talking about, kind of falling on his front end, losing his momentum. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to round him up, push his back end up underneath himself, tell him we do a downward transition, but you still need to keep the back end engaged. Now we got a better working trot. Let's go back to an extended trot. Let's work on that transition again. We're working on developing the two gaits, but we're working on developing the transitions. I'd like him to extend, stay collected, use my hands, use my legs, get him collected. I'll come around on that wall over there. We'll do another downward transition. Not too bad. Right here at the end, he got a little bit better collected, a little bit more impulsion. This same maintaining impulsion, maintaining collection in the trot transitions for ranch riding is the exact same thing that I need in my reining transitions from big fast to small slow. If the horse doesn't maintain his roundness in that downward transition from big fast to small slow, a lot of times he'll lose engagement in the back end and then fall out of lead. Many times if you have a horse that falls out of lead in those downward transitions from big fast to small slow when you're reining, that's where it's coming from. The horse is transitioning down and not maintaining its engagement. So it's really important as you work your horse, ranch riding, reining, cow horse, whatever it is, that the horse maintain engagement in its downward transitions, and you develop your slow trot and your extended trot, that you maintain engagement in each of those gaits. And you need it in your lope too. You need roundness, you need the horse broke at the pole, you need the hip engaged in the gaits, and you need it when you're transitioning from one gait to the other. If you do post when your horse is trotting, if you have a horse that doesn't move very flat and you do post, all your transitions occur sitting. You always sit and then do an upward or a downward transition. You never transition in any gait while you're posting. You should always sit for a couple of strides, about 3 strides typically, and then do your transition. That balances the horse. You sit, it's almost like a little bit of a half halt. Sit, balance the horse, then do your transitions. If you do trot, that's how your transitions should be. So work on developing the trot itself, work on developing the transitions, and the better you make that, the better your horse is going to be for whether you show reining, ranch riding, or cow horse. That's going to make your horse better and score better in those maneuvers. So this is Hank. I'm working on getting him ready to show at a cow horse show we'll be going to in August in West Monroe, Louisiana. If you happen to be there, it's the 23rd, 24th, I believe, that weekend. I don't remember exactly. If you happen to be in that area, come by and maybe we'll meet up and get to meet each other if we've never met. So this is Hank. I'll put a link up here to his playlist on YouTube. Until next time, thank you for watching.